Recently, my music habits have changed drastically. I have gone from listening to Easy Life and Everything, very indie-ish kind of bands, to solely our Lord and Saviour, Becky Claire Hill. Do I know why? Absolutely not. I hope I find out soon. But this sparks a very important question in my mind. Why on earth do humans listen to music? Why do we enjoy it in the first place? Why does it have such an effect on our mood all the time? It can either drastically increase our mood, amplify it, or it can dumb it down and turn it around immediately. I don't really know. But that is a question I am willing to find the answer to. Music, vocal or instrumental sounds, or both, combined in such a way to produce beauty of form, harmony, and expression of emotion. It's always important to start with the definition, but that was cringe, so let's go further. Sound, vibrations that travel through the air or another medium, like metal and shit, and can be heard when they reach another person's or animal's ear. Sound is a crazy concept in and of itself. It's literally just vibrations that are transferred into electrical impulses when they reach our ear. It's mental. Your inner ear has about 25,000 nerve endings to help with this task. I mean, come on, look. Fucking crazy. A particularly interesting fact we found when studying the brain is how it can differentiate between screaming nonsensical noise and a person trying to communicate. Speech has two very defining characteristics: the voice of the speaker and also the linguistics used in said language, i.e. the phonemes. These are the distinct sounds in any given language that differentiate words from each other. They are very important for understanding basic dialect. I mean, take for example D and T in the English language, which I hope you speak. Imagine if you couldn't tell the difference between damn, I wanna tap dat, and damn, I wanna tap dad. You see the problem. To study how the brain distinguishes between the different phonemes, some researchers from the University of Geneva made up some fake French words, but they also follow the same phonology as the general alphabet. The words, you can distinguish between the phonemes, but they make absolutely no sense at all when you read them out loud. Stupid frogs. They also recorded a person saying these words and then pitched it up and down to create 3 separate tracks. Subjects were then placed into an fMRI machine, otherwise known as a for-brain MRI machine, and then were tasked to complete 2 separate things in different tests. The first one identified the phoneme being used in the track, and secondly, to realise the track that was being used, which pitch was being used. The results they saw were interesting indeed. They witnessed the brain dynamically adapt to fit the task at hand. The researchers already knew the best way to differentiate between phonemes and to differentiate between the voice tracks because they studied acoustics, but they didn't know the brain knew that. So when they saw the brain amplifying the specific parts of the track to make it easier for it, they managed to prove that the brain can dynamically adapt with acoustics. So now your brain knows, oh, that guy screamed at me, or oh, that guy absolutely fucking went hard and used some incredible English to abuse me. The brain can simultaneously complete many tasks at once, whether you're listening to a heartwarming love ballad or an absolutely banger tune. And despite, old beliefs, this happens all over the brain, not just on one side. When the signal stops off at the auditory cortex, for example, which is located in the brain, the cells in here are organized in a way of low frequency to high frequency so the brain can analyze it like a scientist. Some of the cells respond to low frequencies, some of them respond to higher frequencies. This is where the brain breaks the track down. It looks at the volume, it looks at the pitch, it looks at the tempo, and based off of that information sends out different electrical signals to the other parts of the brain to elicit a certain response. Ever tried remembering the lyrics of a song while it's playing? That's the cerebrum in play, baby. This is the part of the brain that recalls and racks all of your memories of when you listen to a song to try and help you and aid you in remembering said lyrics. It's like when you listen to your girlfriend's favourite song and now she's singing it with some other bloke. Rip bozo, unlucky, L, hold that. Ever felt the urge to break it down on the dance floor listening to a certain song? You must have an absolutely swole cerebellum like me. This is the part of the brain that is responsible for your balance, your rhythm, your skeletal muscle movement, which is basically what it means when you hit the boogie bomb on the dance floor at the club. Finally, the chills. You know exactly what I'm on about. Whether it's the suspense of the upcoming upcoming drop, or it's that sad sinking feeling you get in your chest when you're listening to sad songs. The limbic system, otherwise known by me as the musical pleasure or not so pleasure center. This is the part of the brain that controls the emotional response your body gets when listening to music. Inside this system is the hypothalamus, which is responsible for releasing the hormones to the body that dictate said mood. The main one that everybody knows about, of course, dopamine, the happy drug, the neuro crack. This is released under two separate conditions when listening to music. Firstly, if the song's got good rhythm and it's got you moving, it's got you pumping, that's the wrong word. And the second one is when you're in anticipation and the suspense of waiting for a drop, for example. This is going to be very apparent in songs like Bangarang, but it doesn't just have to be confined to upbeat, absolutely in-your-face songs. There's other instances of this. To put it in Becky Hill perspective, the song Waiting Not Looking is dominantly in a minor key, so it's not the happy upbeat stuff, it's kind of more sad. And what makes this song even more different is how the suspense builds through the chorus, not the pre-chorus with the drop in the chorus. The drop comes in the after chorus, the musical interlude, you could say. It also helps that the song has incredibly good rhythm. If you have no idea what song that is, I would just recommend taking like 2 minutes out of your time. It's only 2 minutes long. Go and listen to the song now. Pause the video, guys. Come back in 2 minutes. Done? Wow, what a banger tune. I'm glad you're informed. Dopamine, however, is kind of like the master hormone. It interacts with a load of other stuff that provides an even more in-depth kind of emotional response. One of those being oxytocin. Oxytocin, or the love drug as it has been commonly dubbed, is a neurohormone that reacts very strongly with dopamine. It has a vital role in reproduction and also social bonding. Anytime there's movement or something involving timing, you release oxytocin into your bloodstream. Obviously, timing is extremely important in music, so when the oxytocin is released and the dopamine from listening to the happy music, this creates good social bonds between people that you listen to music with. And as we spoke about earlier, the cerebellum now links those good memories, trying to remember the song lyrics, so every time you hear a song, you're going to bring up these good, happy memories with good people. It strengthens bonds between people. It's a very important part of music, and it explains why it's been around for so long. There's a lot of real-world applications for this kind of music neurochemistry theory. One of the major one, of course, being clubs. You go in, the music's going mental. It's the only thing you can hear. And obviously you never hear sad songs because they want you to be as happy as physically possible. So you spend more money on drinks, you spend more money coming in the next time you come, because the next time you want a good time, where are you going to go? Oh, I had a good time at the club last time, let's go there again. You tend to hear a lot of upbeat music with a lot of suspense building pre-choruses and heavy drops to build as much dopamine spikes as possible. But then you're also surrounded by a fuck ton of other people, which drives up oxytocin, drives up dopamine. You then associate the happy memories with the club, and it brings you back week in, week out. It's very well studied, very well done by them. As well as dopamine, there's a lot of opioids that are released into the body when listening to music. This is the natural painkiller of the body, the feel-good shit, as it's more commonly known. This can be responsible for two very contrasting things. It can be responsible for the relaxation and the tranquility you get from listening to kind of slower, happier music, or ASMR if you really want to go that deep. Or it can be responsible for the most pure, adrenaline driving, floaty spikes of power. When you're in the club and you just feel like floating up and just going crazy because you're just that happy. The opioids are also responsible for that. Everything is done perfectly to increase your max happiness. From a business perspective, I've got to say, clubs really have it down. However, if you enjoy a song too much, you can get something commonly known as an earworm, or in science terms, involuntary musical imagery. This is when your brain is trying to fill a gap in its auditory cortex. So when you listen to a song over and over, it will continuously put this data through your phonological loop, and it almost gets stuck there, hence why stuck in your head. Earworms are usually songs that have a fairly easy to remember melody. They're also fairly easy to remember how to sing. All of this is just making it easier for your brain to process and get through the auditory cortex. They also normally have a defining characteristic that sets them apart from other songs that might be similar, i.e. a very memorable bass line that just goes hard, or a catchy chorus. This might explain why music has been around for Music quite literally has been around for generations, and now we understand why from a scientific standpoint. But on that same breath, what makes good music? If music really makes us feel that good, why would we not just want to prioritize listening to the music that makes us feel that good? It's time to min-max music. Common sense would tell us that if we feel good because of the emotional response provided from music, then we should look for the strongest emotional response possible. Now, a genre that comes to mind when we think about big emotional responses is obviously heartbreak songs, heartbreak anthems. To be honest, heartbreak songs are quite literally sickening. I could take out an entire army just throwing CDs of individual fucking heartbreak songs. There's that many of them, all individual. I could take out Genghis Khan, just give me enough. However, there is a really good reason for this. These songs are incredibly relatable to a lot of people. So when you listen to them, you can kind of feel and understand the music and the lyrics, which provides then an extremely powerful, emotional, negative response. But then again, no one wants to feel sad apart from emos. So we're just going to rule that out of the bracket, okay? They have been eliminated. By this logic, we need to look at the songs that produce the biggest, happiest emotional response. These need to be songs with good rhythm to simulate the cerebellum. These need to be songs with good memories attached to them to simulate the cerebrum. They need to have as much suspense build as possible and a heavy drop to get as much dopamine out of the limbic system, and they also need to be as catchy and have a memorable part to them to get an earworm, or to maximize the amount of chance of an earworm. You might see where I'm going with this. Introducing dance music. Becky Hill returns. I can never escape. Funnily enough, dance music ticks every single one of these boxes with flying colours. Let's put it into Becky Hill perspective, shall we? Most dance songs sit at around 115 to 130 beats per minute in a study I found from 2010. These songs are quite fast, and these fast songs are played in clubs. What do you want to do in clubs? Dance. What do you want to dance? Because the song has a good rhythm. All dance songs really, with very few exceptions, have good rhythm. So that's a tick. As I stated, they're played over clubs worldwide. And what do people do at clubs apart from cocaine and smoke? They have fun. Exactly. So they create all these happy memories, which stimulates that cerebrum. Oh, I'm telling you, it's all coming together. That's another tick. A suspenseful build-up and a big drop. Oh wait, have you ever listened to Afterglow? Of course you have. Everybody's fucking heard it, alright? Another tick. It goes crazy. A memorable bass line or a catchy chorus? You better believe I'm better off without her, Becky. You better believe it. Conclusion. Dance music is categorically the happiest and most fulfilling music emotionally to listen to, period. And I am just beginning to understand that now. Do not fret, my young ones. Rebecca Claire Hill is here to stay. She isn't going anywhere. Thank you and goodbye.